All right, 340. Hello, everyone. It's digital host A.J. Wuest welcoming you back to Before the Four. Of course, the live stream where I go through some of 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 o'clock newscast. Happy Thursday, everyone. Happy Juneteenth to everyone here across the Tennessee Valley. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. But first, let's take a look at the radar. There's no doubt about it. We've recently seen a lot of rain here in the Tennessee Valley. I think I speak for most people when I say we're ready for the sun to stick around for a little while. Let's turn it over to 48 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis for what to expect as we head to the end of the week. Brad?
Many of the trees that you see behind me
We don't have any rain out there for now, but we'll still have a few isolated showers, maybe a thunderstorm as the front arrives later this evening. This is a front that's basically changing out the air mass. High pressure's moving in, so it won't be colder tomorrow. In fact, it's going to get hotter. First day of summer tomorrow. We'll be grilling out there over the weekend. Here's your grilling forecast for this evening. An isolated shower, thunderstorm. Temperatures in the low to mid 80s early on. Here's what's going on hour by hour. 5 o'clock, a few showers along that frontal boundary to the north. Wind shifts more to the west, and when that happens, that's the front coming through, and that's the end of the rain. But you can see still around 8:45, a few isolated thunderstorms, mainly in northeast Alabama. Some locally heavy rain, maybe some frequent lightning with that. And then tomorrow morning, we may wind up with some fog out there in the morning. We'll have to watch that. That'll burn off by about 9 a.m. And here's your very hot forecast for the weekend. 91 tomorrow, just a stray shower or storm. 94 Saturday, 95 Sunday, heat index around 100. It's time to stay hydrated. It's probably going to get hotter than this into next week. We'll talk about that at 4, 5, and 6.
And there was Brad. I apologize for that little mishap there. You got a preview to a later story that we're going to be talking about coming up in just a few minutes. But you guys already know Weather Extra. It'll be tonight at 9:30. 48 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis will be back here, and he'll have all the latest that he's seeing on the radar. Again, that is tonight at 9:30. You can watch it wherever you're watching Before the Four right now. And speaking of that story, you got a little bit of a preview for. As I mentioned earlier, we've seen a large amount of rainfall this spring, certainly more than we normally see here in North Alabama. And with the weather and rainfall, some experts say we've been seeing a lot of root rot. 48's Faith Delp reports on what that entails.
Many of the trees that you see behind me toppled onto homes due to those wet conditions. Owner of North Alabama Tree Service, Jeff Stevens, tells me the rain is causing root rot, which eventually causes the trees to fall. Stevens says root rot is a broad term for any disease or fungus caused by too much water. He says it is treatable, but in some cases it can spread to healthy trees, and the infected tree will have to be cut down. That's the case with these trees. They're headed to the dump because the kind of root rot they had was contagious. He recommends homeowners check their trees frequently.
Well, if they're going to cut their grass or they're going to have somebody cut their grass, have them inspect them.
He says root rot can look like a few different things, from discoloration to odd-looking mushrooms.
Honey fungus, and it's always at the base of the tree. And then we also have the burnt crust, which is gray that turns black. And it's a bacteria that will start to rot the tree. Little holes for the beetle borers. They can see that. They can see if termites are going in and out. They just need to look at their trees.
Stevens says if you see these signs on your trees, to call a professional arborist to treat them before they fall. Reporting in Harvest, Faith Delp 48 News on your side.
And now moving out to Fort Payne with the story in case you missed it. A family is speaking out after their mother was detained by ICE agents. She's currently being held in a facility in southern Louisiana. 48's Savannah Sapp with the details on that situation.
Michaela Pasquale went to Birmingham in early May, believing she was just going to renew her work permit. But when she and her son arrived at the facility, an ICE agent was there waiting to detain her. And now her family is fighting to bring her home. David Miguel says his mother, Michaela Pasquale, worked hard to make a life for herself and her 6 kids in Fort Payne.
She provided for us like a house over our head. She brought, we did grow up poor just because it was just her.
Pascual moved to the United States over 20 years ago from Guatemala to find a better job and provide for her family. She has her own car, bought a house, and pays taxes according to her son. But still in early May, she was detained by ICE during a routine trip to renew her work permit.
ICE agent came up to her and said, is this your son? So I need you to translate for her. And then I translated everything, and he said that we're going to detain her today.
Miguel says his mom had applied for legal asylum in 2013, but a judge informed her she'd have to self-deport until the documents cleared. She chose to stay for her children and sought a work visa instead. Agents told Miguel and his mom that her failure to self-deport was why she was being detained.
It's just unfortunate that they're not arresting the criminals. My mom has 6 kids, has nothing against her. Probably no violation that she has done. Probably maybe a traffic ticket.
Miguel and his family have set up a GoFundMe in hopes to share her story and find a way to bring her home.
Maybe someone out there could help change and just maybe able to bring her back. We just want we want change, basically. That's all we want.
Well, Michaela is currently being held at an ICE processing center in southern Louisiana. We have reached out to ICE officials to learn more about Michaela's situation, but at this time, we have not heard back. Reporting in Fort Payne, I'm Savannah Sapp, 48 News, on your side.
And Savannah will be following up on that situation coming up in our evening newscast. She'll be speaking with the immigration attorney for the family. But now, coming up after the break, we'll talk about the significance of Juneteenth, of course, the day to celebrate the official end to slavery in America, and a youth basketball camp coming up in Huntsville, organized by former Bob Jones and Alabama Crimson Tide star Levi Randolph. It's all ahead. I'll be right back in 1 minute. All right, well, hello everyone and welcome back to Before the Four. Now today, millions of people throughout the country will gather to remember and celebrate the end of slavery here in America. Today, of course, is Juneteenth and has been a federal holiday since 2021. But here in Alabama, Juneteenth just became a permanent state holiday this year when Governor Kay Ivey signed a bill to recognize the holiday. Juneteenth commemorates the day when some of the last enslaved people in the U.S. learned they were free in Galveston, Texas. This happened 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed by President Abraham Lincoln. After the Civil War, many enslaved people in secluded areas did not know they were free right away. 48 Sarah Grace Kennedy spoke with co-founder of Standing in Power, Terrence Adkins. Adkins says it means a lot that his ancestors fought to be free, adding that it's empowering to know that black troops who fought alongside the Union did so right here in Decatur. Adkins says he's taking this day to reflect on the monumental sacrifices many brave Americans made. Let's take a listen.
It's great that we're having Juneteenth celebrations because people start to dig more. A lot of family history starts to come out more. You see a lot of, the land ownership and the land theft. The people who fought for this country, the businesses that we created, the things that we did to make this country into what it is today.
And you can find all the Juneteenth festivities and events going on here in the Tennessee Valley on our website as well as our evening newscasts. But now, maybe you have a kiddo who likes basketball. Well, former Bob Jones and Crimson Tide star Levi Randolph is hosting his 5th youth basketball camp and celebrity game at Bob Jones High School coming up. 48 sports anchor Cam Durr spoke with Levi and has details.
You know, I try to give all my support as much as I can to the 256 and surrounding area.
Former Bob Jones Patriot and Crimson Tide standout Levi Randolph has given kids in his community something to look forward to each and every year on the court, returning to host his 5th Summer Classic camp and celebrity basketball game.
You know, same goal as always, just to show fun, let them gain a little bit of experience in a little time that we have through basketball, coming together with the community. Just giving them something positive to look forward to every year.
But for Levi, the camp goes deeper than the game of basketball. Each year, he aims to inspire kids like he once was to dream big.
That's kind of what we want to give to these kids and just show them that there's a lot that they can accomplish. You know, a lot of the coaches and guys that are coming to camp to help or to the celebrity game were guys that were in their shoes, you know, once upon a time, like I said. So just to be able to spread that and show them that, you know, they can be like the big guys one day.
And the big guys will take the court later that evening for a little community fun for everyone.
You know, a lot of the guys I played with throughout my career, a lot of guys that, you know, we see on TV or social media, I'm trying to get to come to the city to give them a chance to see professional players that they may not have ever gotten to go on to see.
The camp is set to tip off on June 28th from 10 to 1. The celebrity game will take place later in the evening at 7:15 p.m. You can find a link to sign up on our website at WAFF.com. Cam Durr, 48 Sports, on your side.
Certainly sounds like it's one heck of a time. Certainly going to have a ball out there. But now let's go to the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscast. Details on Rock the South, of course, the annual music festival coming to Coleman. 48's Faith Delp will have a preview for that coming up. A new National Guard training facility opening here in Huntsville. 48's Noah Cowell will have more on that. And finally, remembering the life and legacy of a woman who was tragically shot and killed in Decatur last week. 48's Callie Neese will have more on that, and these are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscast. And it is about that time. It is time for Facebook fun. And of course, our 48 Facebook question of the day, what's something you've always wanted to learn? For me, I think there's several different instruments I want to learn. Piano was one of them. I can play a little guitar, but I would love to be great at guitar. I know I just need to take some lessons and to keep practicing. And I can be really good and I can learn that. But those are two things I think I would like to learn: how to play the piano and how to get really good at guitar. But what I want to know is, what is something you've always wanted to learn? And let's see what you all had to say. Right here, sign language. Dagny Scott said sign language. That would be an awesome thing to learn, 100%. Dagny, thank you so much for commenting. Great comment there. Cassie said how to keep my mouth shut. Now that is a very difficult thing to learn sometimes, because sometimes you just have something in the back of your head. You're like, I just got to let it out, and it's not always the greatest thing to say. So that's a hard thing. Glinda, to play the piano. Me too, Glinda. I feel you on that. Kimberly said how to ride a unicycle. Now that would be kind of tough. You got to get the balance right. I recently got a bicycle for my birthday, but yeah, I have not ridden a unicycle. I'd imagine that'd be kind of hard. How to fly a plane, to be a pilot. Now that would be awesome. Lindsay, thank you for commenting. Different languages. Adrian, 100%. It'd be awesome to be able to speak multiple different languages like French, Spanish, a little bit of German in there. That would be so incredible. And to play violin or cello, Tina said that would be another awesome couple instruments to learn to play. Also, play some classical music in there. And let's see, we might have time for a couple different comments. Let's see. And you know, all these comments here, it is never too late. You can always, I don't know about the keeping the mouth shut. I think it might be a little bit too late. You're either born with your mouth open or you're born with your mouth closed. So I don't know. I don't know if you can learn that skill, honestly. But let's see. Maybe we have time for one more. It looks like Che said how to play the drums. That's another instrument that would be awesome to learn as well. But that is just about it for today's Before the Four. Thank you all for sticking around and spending a bit of your Thursday afternoon here. I hope you all enjoy tonight's evening newscast. Enjoy tonight. Have a great night tonight. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You all have a great night.